My name's Nayla Moon. Some of you know me by Michelle. If you're first finding out my real name, congratulations! Who knew? Anyway, today I'm doing a vlogging challenge by Mama Cat. Over there on her blog, she decides to do regular blogging or vlogging. As many of you know, I'm actually an avid blogger. But sometimes it doesn't hurt to do vlogging. Today's challenge is to talk to you about my very first job as a teenager. Now, this is a little different for me because actually I started working when I was 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old. Most people don't even start till they're 16, 17, or 18, 20? Anyway, like I said, I started when I was 12 years old. And I was actually a babysitter. I had taken classes, and I had such a good reputation that I had quite a few kids that I took care of. In addition to that, excuse me. In addition to that, one of the clients that I had, they owned a restaurant. And she actually let me come and work for her doing dishes for her restaurant. Now, she paid me cash because, as you know, kids that age weren't supposed to be working in a restaurant. But I was from small town, so who knew and who cared? She also gave me free lunch for doing dishes. It was a fun job, believe it or not, and I loved it. I couldn't say I'd want to do dishes now. Believe it or not, back then, I talk like back then like I was in the dinosaur ages. Anyway, back then, I actually got paid $2 an hour. Can you imagine working for $2 an hour now? I don't think so. But for a 12-year-old, it was great money. Not to mention, like I said, I was babysitting, and I also worked as a dishwasher for the restaurant. Later on, when I was 16 years old, I got my first real job. That was working for a donut shop, a local donut shop. Now, I say local, but I don't mean here in Colorado where I live now. I mean back in Missouri, where I used to live, in Podunk. Anyway, it was a really great job. I actually worked for the guy for 6 years. I worked for him so long that people actually thought we were married. Can you imagine me married to a really, really, really old guy? I think not, especially at 16 years old. Anyway, like I said, it was a great job. The donuts were fabulous. Oh, and by the way, the place was called Liberty Cream Donuts. It no longer exists now. Believe it or not, in the time I went there, we actually went through 2 major floods. The biggest flood was in 1993. I'm sure all of you have heard of that flood, where, you know, half of Missouri was underwater. Yeah, the restaurant I worked at, you couldn't even see it. There was so much water. That's right, it was completely underwater. As it turns out, after the huge flood, my brothers, my twin brothers that is, they actually worked and helped clean up the place. And guess what? He opened right back up after everything. I actually introduced him even to having Christmas decorations. Yeah, the guy would have never probably had Christmas decorations if I hadn't said something to him. It was really fun working for him, and the customers were great. Most of them were really old guys that came in and just drank coffee and maybe had a donut. But we'd sit around and we'd talk a while, and the tips were really great. One of the things those guys did was when I got pregnant after, I guess when I was 19, the guys got together and they got me a card. Now, you would think that most of the cards would be, you know, congratulations on your new baby, or something to that effect. Not these guys, no way. The card they actually got me was, congratulations. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry you're sick. I'm sorry you're sick? Anyway, it made me laugh hysterically. But more importantly, the guys got together $50 for me and gave it to me for a present. Wasn't that nice of them? At the same time, around the time I was 18, I was still working for the donut shop, still babysitting, and guess what? I actually got a third job. I worked as for a local pizza place called Pantera's. I don't think Pantera's is in existence anymore, but it was a great place to work for. We actually made the pizzas. I mean the dough and everything. So yes, I was working 3 jobs, making pretty decent money for that, which was a good thing, number one, because I actually paid for part of my tuition for high school because I was going to a private high school and my parents could use the help. I paid for my entire senior year in high school. I always had money so that I could go out with my friends on weekends and if I wanted to buy stuff of my own. My brothers loved it too because guess who they came and borrowed money from? That's right, me. Even though they had jobs too, they never had money, so they'd come and borrow money from me. How ironic. Anyway, so that's a little tidbit about me and my jobs as a teenager. I hope you enjoyed this. You take care now, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.